All right, live right now at 11 a.m., a live look at Dallas and Fort Worth as we've got several chances for rain throughout the Memorial Day weekend. And lots of parents, they are watching the weather. The chairs are set up at Allen's Eagle Stadium. That's a lot of chairs. Obviously, Allen has a huge high school, 1,700 chairs there. 72 seniors set to walk the stage tonight. 1,772, not 72. I was going to say it's not exactly 72 chairs that we're seeing there. So yeah, a lot of folks are going to be walking the stage tonight. It's the largest graduation at a high school in Texas. But the big question all the parents are asking, will the weather hold off when those graduations begin? Welcome to Midday. I'm Matt Howard, to meteorologist Maria Ruiz.
Yes. I think the conditions will hold.
All right, that's good.
Yeah.
And trust her, she scored very high on her SATs.
We were just talking about high school, right before this, and man, what a time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the rain's going to hold off for graduation tonight, and we do have a really small potential to see a pop-up shower or storm, mainly east of the area. Okay. So that's why I think graduation should be just fine, although it is going to be a little toasty and humid. Temperature near 82 degrees as we head towards 7 p.m. for Allen High School at Eagle Stadium that we just showed you there. The graduation happens at 7:30. I heard it's incredibly efficient. I would love to see like a time lapse of that. We are looking right now at a little bit of cloud cover across the area, a little shower trying to get going near Bonham, Silver Springs, and that's really where the 10% today comes from. It comes from a pop-up shower that could happen mainly east of DFW. Today, most of us will just see a mix of sunshine and cloud cover. Again, that 10% there for the late afternoon into the evening with a light southwest wind at about 5 to 10. 82 for the high in Denton, 81 in McKinney, 85 in Fort Worth, 82 in Decatur. A lot of locations making it into the mid-80s. Rain coverage, by the way, yeah, it's here to stay for the next several days. In fact, through Memorial Day, we have at least a small chance to see thunderstorms. The next best opportunity to see them happens tonight after midnight. I'm going to show you what that looks like on a timecast so you can plan around it. Coming up just ahead, Matt. That's in just a few minutes. All
right. Thank you so much. Mariel, time right now is 11:02 a.m. and they are off. AAA says that this is kind of the busiest time to start traveling on the Memorial Day weekend time frame. It's all underway right now with a record number of Americans expected to travel for the holiday. We're monitoring the roads and skies. Traffic anchor Stacia Wilson will be here in a second, but we start with Chris Sadeghi at DFW Airport.
People get an early jump this Friday to their Memorial Day holiday destinations. We checked the flight boards. It looks like flights were back on track after we saw hundreds of delays thanks to those storms on Thursday. And the people heading out on their Memorial Day trips are doing so by car, but also about 1.6 million people flying out of this airport this weekend. That is because if you are catching a flight, DFW says travel demand up 5.8% from last year's Memorial Day holiday. With traffic, parking, construction, you do not want to cut it close, so keep in mind the roads and terminal curbs at the airport are busiest in the late mornings. That's from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. and also in the evenings from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Now, if you are driving somewhere, you know it is going to cost you more this year. However, AAA says the amount of Texans driving 50 miles or more from home still up slightly from last year, just 0.2%. Transportation data provider INREX says Sunday should be the lightest day for road traffic, and the best times to hit the road before 11 a.m. today and Saturday, and even earlier on Monday. You'll want to get started before 10 a.m. And also, we know the forecast. The rain is a possibility throughout this weekend. So if you are flying, you'll want to make sure you're subscribing with those flight notifications in case there are any flight changes. I'm Chris Sadeghi. Now back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Chris. Good to know. Starting with what things look like right now and some areas that you should watch out for if you are getting ready to hit the roads. I-20 at Bowman Springs. We talk about this intersection a lot. You have an accident there. Traffic slow moving on the westbound side. So this is right around Forest Hill in southeast Tarrant County. Another backup we're watching, this one in Dallas County, just north of downtown Dallas. 75 at Walnut Hill. You can see traffic pretty slow in this area. You do have an accident that is causing that backup. up there and you have a couple lanes that's blocked. In fact, just looking at your map, that's the bright red that we're seeing right along Central Expressway. So 75 northbound, right there at Meadow, couple lanes blocked. This is in between 635 and Loop 12. And yeah, traffic slow moving as a result. Really, this is the only collision besides the Tarrant County one that we're seeing slower traffic. Some other areas to keep an eye out for, just want to point a few things out. So traffic a little heavier along 635 and US 80, but one good thing is you can expect not to see a whole lot of weekend construction slowing things down. Crews are taking a break for the holidays, so that's some good news there.
All right, new developments in Africa's Ebola outbreak. The head of the World Health Organization saying today it is spreading rapidly in the Congo and now poses a very high risk at the national level. 177 deaths there now linked to Ebola. Here in the U.S., the Department of Homeland Security has ordered all flights from Ebola-infected regions to land at Dulles Airport in Virginia. Once there, passengers will be screened, and the CDC invoked Title 42, a public health law that restricts entry into the U.S. during outbreaks of communicable diseases. This weekend's race at Charlotte Motor Speedway will go on despite the sudden death of driver Kyle Busch, but the racetrack says it will pay tribute to the NASCAR great. Busch was a huge presence on the racing scene, known for a brash personality and also for winning big. Here's ABC's Andrea Fujii.
This morning, the racing world in shock after the sudden death of two-time NASCAR Cup Series champion Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch behind the wheel, winning.
At just 41 years old, the married father of two died after being hospitalized with what his family describes as a severe illness. They did not elaborate. Reaction pouring in overnight. Denny Hamlin saying absolutely cannot comprehend this news. Dale Earnhardt Jr. saying, I will never be able to make sense of this loss, but I am thankful that we had found a way to become friends. Just 12 days ago, Busch radioed his crew during this race in upstate New York, asking a doctor to give him a shot. He was reportedly struggling with a sinus cold, made worse by the intense G-forces and elevation changes of the course.
He has asked to have medical attention available after the race.
I'm going to need a shot. Copy.
Although no cause of death has been given, doctors say bad colds can turn deadly.
In some situations, what may seem like a routine cold can actually turn into pneumonia, sepsis, meningitis, or may even affect other organs in your body. This can lead to some severe complications.
Busch won more races across NASCAR's 3 national series than any other driver in history. Just last week, after winning at Dover Motor Speedway, he gave a now very meaningful response to a reporter's question.
Why do these moments never get old, Kyle?
Because you never know when the last one is.
Off the track, Busch's family took front and center. He and his wife Samantha were vocal in the past about their struggles with infertility. In 2021, they spoke on the Tamron Hall Show about IVF, hoping to help other families.
When we were starting to go through it, we were trying to research, and there wasn't a whole lot out there.
In a joint statement last night, NASCAR and the Busch family saying Kyle was a rare talent, one who comes along once in a generation. He was fierce, he was passionate, he was immensely skilled, and he cared deeply about the sports and fans.
He was somebody who was willing, even at the top of his game and winning NASCAR championships, to still go and mentor and give advice to a teenager like me and a lot of other young drivers that came through his organization.
Andrea Fujii, ABC News, New York.
And if you remember, Busch raced here at Texas Motor Speedway just 3 weeks ago. Now the big Haas TV screen displays his photo. The track's general manager tells WFAA that discussions are underway on how to honor Busch's legacy at TMS, where he is its winningest NASCAR driver. Happening today, Fort Worth Police Chief Eddie Garcia is expected to release more information regarding a deadly police shooting last weekend. Authorities say officers shot Emmett Elijah Mayo after he allegedly pointed a gun at them. Mayo is a local rap artist who goes by 88 Dub. His family is questioning what led up to the deadly confrontation, and we'll bring you updates on social media this afternoon after that press conference. This weekend is Memorial Day weekend, and while some folks think that barbecue and time at the lake is a great thing, once again, the Carry the Load organization is working to put the meaning back into this Memorial Day holiday, holding its annual national march and grand finale here in North Texas. Sean Giggy shows us more.
It is Memorial Day weekend, and that means the return of the Carry the Load Memorial March here in Dallas at Reverchon Park. I'm joined by one of the Carry the Load founders, Stephen Hawley. And Stephen, first off, this has been going on for 16 years. When you started this 16 years ago, what was your motivation and your reason behind starting Carry the Load?
You know, when Clint and I started Carry the Load back in 2011, it came upon the heels of losing some good friends of ours on the West Coast SEAL teams, and it was a selfishly, it was a chance for us to get together and mourn, but also celebrate those lives. And never in a million years could we have imagined that it's grown the way it has. But we're very thankful for what it is today.
And yeah, it's grown into something where, as we said, thousands will be out here. They'll be walking around Reverchon Park, carrying someone that's near and dear to them, maybe carrying someone they don't know, honoring those that have lost their lives. But if someone can't make it out here this weekend, there are other events happening as well, right? If they want to get involved, how can they do that?
Yeah, you go to carrytheload.org. We've got a big event around 9/11 in a partnership with the VA and the National Cemetery Association. We'll be in over 100 different cemeteries cleaning headstones at 9/11, and then we always have big events around Veterans Day as well. So whether it's Memorial Day, 9/11, or Veterans Day, there's always plenty of ways to get involved with Carry the Load.
And I think it's also important to point out that while it is somewhat of a somber weekend and maybe a time for mourning and reflection, it's important to know that this is also a fun event. It's family friendly, and it's a cause for celebration for these faces that we see here and the many people that you guys are honoring this weekend. This is a cause for celebration as well, right?
You hit the nail on the head. Again, it has some very somber moments, but it's also very celebratory. And again, speaking on behalf of the guys that I serve with that are no longer with us, they would want us to celebrate, and that's certainly what we're going to do.
All right, and if you want to be a part of it, you can come out to Reverchon Park this weekend. Opening ceremonies are Sunday, and it ends on Monday, Memorial Day. Carry the Load.